Well, hi, this is Mrs. Robertson. Today I'm not in class, but I'm leaving this video for you to make sure you know exactly what my expectations are. First of all, I expect you to be well behaved and have wonderful manners. Now that that has been mentioned, I want to talk to you about what the expectations are for you to do in my class today. The first thing I would like for you to do will be the Reteach review paper, which you are seeing in front of you right now. This paper is going to go over the properties, the commutative property, the associative property, and the identity property. The commutative property states that A plus B equals B plus A, and then they have a number example. Right now, I would like for you to extend the box out. Okay, we'll make us a lovely box, and I want you to give your own example for each one of the properties. Your own example. Okay, so for the commutative property, you can use different variables or different numbers and put here for the commutative property. Now, let's go on to the associative property. Remember, the associative property is the property where the parentheses move, as opposed to the commutative property where the numbers or variables moved. So here we have the associative property for addition. A plus B in parentheses plus C equals A plus B plus C, with the B and the C being in the parentheses. Here they've given an example with numbers. Now, I would like for you to write your own example of the associative property. Hopefully you have yours all written down. If you need more time after this video, you can go back and put your own examples in. Identity property. Now, in the identity property, the original number or variable keeps its identity. In addition, that happens when you add 0. When you are multiplying, it happens when you multiply by 1. Write your own example of the identity property. Now we are going to go ahead and look at the exercises here. You can look at the problems, examples 1 and 2 in class, and then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to identify the property. It says determine whether the two expressions are equivalent. Is 9 times 1 the same as 9? Just think of the word and as being equal to. If it is, you write yes and then tell the property. In this one, the answer is yes. They are equivalent. What's the property? The identity, and you can abbreviate, property of multiplication. So with each one of these problems, you say yes, they're equivalent, or no, they are not. If they are equivalent, you write the property that states that they are equivalent. Now let's go on to Chapter 6, Lesson 6, the distributive property. In this property, you have A times B plus C in parentheses equals A times B plus A times C. Remember, the first term, or here it's the variable, visits both of the numbers inside the parentheses. Let's do an example of the distributive property. This is another example of the distributive property, but it's one that we haven't really used where the variable's behind. Normally we just put the A in front. Now let's go back to doing our own example. I'm going to use the numbers 3 times 5 plus, I'm going to use the variable x. What does that equal? it equals 3 times 5 plus 3 times x. Now I want you to do your own example below the problem that I just gave you. All right, now you will also be expected to do problems 6, 7, and 8. So, you're going to complete this worksheet, do all the problems on the front side, then on the back. These are multiple choice problems that deal with the properties. It says, which of the following does not show the commutative property? So read them carefully and put the answer on the blank to the side. There are 12 problems. Now, when you are finished with this worksheet, you will get your second worksheet. Your second worksheet is about the distributive property again. The first 9 problems on this worksheet will be the factoring problems. You look at the problem and say, oh, what will divide a 3 and a 24? Oh, a 3 will. You will pull a 3 out. 3 times what is 3x? 3 times x. 3 times what is 24? 3 times 8. We practiced this yesterday, and I'm sure you'll do a nice job on these problems. On the second half of the front side of this worksheet, you're going to rewrite each algebraic expression using the distributive property. You're going to write 4 times x plus 4 times 3. Or you could have written 4 times x plus 12. When you finish this side, the last thing that I would like for you to do will be the multiplying F3A. Remember, when you multiply fractions, you first have to change them to an improper fraction. You multiply, add, and put it on top. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, 8/3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9, 9/5, and then you multiply straight across. On this worksheet, you can choose to do any 10. I'm going to give you a deal. If you are well behaved today for the substitute, you can do any 5 problems. If you are making good choices, you can do any 5 problems. After that, you are free to do anything quietly at your seat and not distract or disturb other students. Have a good day.